2 minutes ago, Senator Amy Klobuchar asked FBI Director Kash Patel the simplest question in the world. How many FBI employees have left since January 20th? Patel couldn't answer, or wouldn't. And what happened next, the way Klobuchar responded, the way Patel's mask slipped when she cornered him with his own evasions, exposed the systematic gutting of America's premier law enforcement agency in real time. Watch until the end, because the number Patel refuses to reveal isn't just about personnel changes. It's about whether the FBI still exists as an independent institution or whether it's been transformed into a loyalty enforcement operation for Donald Trump. March 18th, 2026, Senate Intelligence Committee. The question Patel couldn't escape, and the 2-minute exchange that proved everything. Senate Intelligence Committee, afternoon session. Wood-paneled walls, C-SPAN cameras rolling. Kash Patel walked in with his standard confidence, shoulders back, chin up, that "I've survived worse" stride. 3 lawyers behind him, 2 aides flanking the table, a folder he never opened. He'd done dozens of these hearings. He knew how to handle hostile questions, how to run out the clock, but he wasn't prepared for Amy Klobuchar. The first 30 minutes were standard: budget allocations, counterterrorism updates, field office resources. Patel handled it fine, gave his usual non-answers, checked his watch twice. Then Klobuchar took the microphone, and you could feel the room shift. That change in energy when someone who's been waiting patiently is about to strike. "Director Patel," she said, voice measured and cold, "there have been significant personnel changes at the FBI since President Trump took office. I want to understand the scope. How many FBI employees have retired, resigned, been fired, or separated from employment? I need a number." Patel didn't flinch. "We'll get you that number, Senator." Standard deflection. But Klobuchar wasn't moving on. "You don't have it?" "Not off the top of my head," Patel replied. "I want to get you the right number." Klobuchar paused. You could see the calculation. "Would it surprise you," she said, "that it's in the thousands? Like 5,000? The room went quiet. 5,000. Not routine turnover. A purge. Patel's expression didn't change, but his hands did. From resting casually to pressing down flat, fingers white at the knuckles. "I don't think that number is accurate," he said. "You don't know," Klobuchar shot back immediately. "Next question." And that's when it unraveled. Klobuchar wasn't asking random questions. She had a list, designed to corner Patel step by step. "How many special agents or analysts have left or been fired since January 20th, 2025? "We'll get you the numbers," Patel repeated. "Anyone who retires does so of their own volition. Anyone terminated failed to meet standards and uphold their oath to the Constitution." But nobody knew what those standards were. Nobody knew who decided what loyalty meant. And Patel wasn't explaining. "Next question," Klobuchar continued. "How many executive assistant directors or special agents in charge have left or been fired?" Patel opened his mouth. Klobuchar cut him off. "Let me guess. You don't have that answer either." She wasn't asking. She was documenting his refusal on the record. "Next question. Which field office has lost the most personnel?" Patel shifted. "Actually, every field office, including Minnesota, received a plus-up of agents because we're pushing them to the field." Deflection. A pivot from loss to gain. But Klobuchar saw through it. "So you're telling me no field office lost any personnel? That's your answer?" "In Minnesota, there's been a plus-up," Patel insisted. "In every state, we allocated resources so the FBI can continue its historic achievements over these 7 months." Then he said it, the line that would trend. "When you're talking about firings, you're looking for a media hit and a fundraising clip, and I'm not giving it to you." The room exploded. Gasps from the gallery, reporters scrambling, committee members looking at each other. Patel had just accused a sitting senator of conducting a show trial for political donations on television. "It doesn't matter," Klobuchar responded, voice steady. I just want to know how many people have left. And I think your testimony is nobody has left. Nope, that's not my testimony, Patel shot back. You asked it one time. I answered it one time. You didn't get the answer you wanted for your clips. Keep asking it. I told you I'll get you the numbers, but you can keep asking. Something electric was in the air now. This wasn't the usual congressional theater. This was personal. This was two people who genuinely couldn't stand each other, going head-to-head with no script. Which field office has gained the most personnel since January 2025? Klobuchar continued. You noted there have been plus-ups. Which offices received these? The greatest allocation was given to Texas and then Arizona, Patel answered. Texas and Arizona. Everyone in that room knew what that meant. The two states with the largest border enforcement operations. The FBI wasn't being reinforced for counterterrorism or cyber threats. It was being weaponized for immigration enforcement. Director Patel, Klobuchar said, shifting gears, you often refer to FBI agents as cops. But Congress has empowered the FBI to take on missions that local police cannot, especially terrorists, hackers, and spies. I'd like to assess how well the FBI is handling its specialized missions under your leadership. She paused. The FBI is the nation's lead federal law enforcement agency for investigating domestic and international terrorism. And yet the executive assistant directors in charge of the FBI's national security and intelligence branches were both forced out at the beginning of the year. Who replaced them? Excellently qualified personnel, Patel said immediately, to lead the mission of arresting 23,000 violent criminals this year alone. That's twice as many as before. He stopped himself mid-sentence, realizing he was about to name the people he just fired. I'm not going to give you any names so you can attack them. Why not? Klobuchar asked. So you can attack them, Patel repeated. I'm not doing that. But Klobuchar wasn't asking about Minnesota. She was asking about national security, about the people who were supposed to be hunting terrorists and foreign spies. FBI counter-terrorism special agents were reassigned to assist with immigration enforcement, she stated. Have those experts remained in the jobs they trained for? Yes or no? FBI agents' primary responsibility is exactly what they're assigned to do, Patel began. Have they returned to their positions? Klobuchar interrupted. You're not going to let me answer, Patel said, frustration finally showing. Why don't you just do your soliloquy in the 4.5 minutes you have left? I'm not asking for a soliloquy, Klobuchar fired back. It's just a yes or no. They never left, Patel said. What was that? Klobuchar leaned in. They never left their primary job, Patel repeated. That's your testimony, Klobuchar said flatly and moved on. The FBI is also the lead federal agency for investigating cyber attacks. Since President Trump's inauguration, the executive assistant director in charge of the criminal and cyber branch and the head of the FBI cyber division have both left. What are the names of the people who replaced them? The cyber branch is one of the most impressive at the FBI, Patel responded. 409 arrests this year, 169 convictions. That's a 42% increase from the same time last year. It was impressive, the way Patel could pivot from defense to offense, throwing statistics like shields, deflecting every direct question with achievement metrics. But Klobuchar wasn't impressed. I want to know who has those positions, she pressed. Supremely qualified individuals have those positions, Patel said. Who are they? What are their names? You're not getting, we don't, and there it was, the core of the conflict. Klobuchar wanted accountability, transparency, answers about who was running the most powerful law enforcement agency in the world. Patel was giving her mission statements, success metrics, deflections wrapped in patriotism. Director Patel, she said, her voice taking on a different tone, the FBI is meant to be the tip of the spear in combating terrorism from both foreign and domestic sources. But instead of that specialized role, you have the FBI playing local police and helping with immigration enforcement. She paused. I'm going to move on. You're now requiring applicants to be able to do a certain kind of pull-up, which a lot of women cannot do because of physiological differences. Are you requiring these kinds of pull-ups? We're requiring a physical program at Quantico, Patel said, because FBI agents carrying guns in the field have to chase down bad guys. If you want to chase down a bad guy and put him in handcuffs, you better be able to do a pull-up. The reason I ask, Klobuchar said, is that there are concerns about whether these harsh pull-ups are really required. Doing one pull-up is not harsh, Patel countered, but the subtext was clear. Patel was changing hiring standards in ways that would systematically exclude women, older applicants, people without military backgrounds. I am gravely concerned by the state of the FBI under your control, Klobuchar said. The FBI is losing dedicated employees, decades of expertise lost through early retirements, firings, reassignments. Thousands have already left. For as long as you remain as FBI director, I fear the number of departures will continue to grow. She paused, then delivered the line that would define the hearing. Mr. Patel, before the vote on your nomination, I noted that your most significant qualification was your 100% loyalty to President Trump. And I fear that continues to be the motivating factor in your position as FBI director. The room went dead silent. Actually silent. No shuffling papers, no whispered conversations, just silence. Patel sat there, jaw tight, hands still pressed flat on the table. And for just a moment, maybe 3 seconds, maybe 5, his mask slipped. You could see the anger, the frustration. Mr. Chairman, Patel said, voice controlled but harder now, that is an entire falsehood. You can delete my 16 years of government service to multiple administrations all you want. I was a public defender. I was a national security prosecutor. I was a House intelligence staffer. I was Deputy Director of Intelligence. I was Chief of Staff to the Department of Defense. I led counter-terrorism missions for the White House. There was no loyalty then. There's no loyalty now to anything but the Constitution. It was a good speech, well rehearsed. The resume recitation, the Constitution invocation. But Klobuchar hadn't asked about his past. She'd asked about his present. And Patel's present was this: thousands of FBI employees gone, top leadership purged, counter-terrorism experts reassigned, cyber divisions gutted, hiring standards changed to exclude women, all under a director whose primary qualification was loyalty to the president who appointed him. Within minutes, clips were everywhere. Twitter exploded, news channels cut to the exchange, and in FBI field offices across the country, agents watched, wondering if they were next, wondering what loyalty meant, wondering who was actually running the bureau. 2 minutes. That's all it took for Amy Klobuchar to expose what's happening inside the FBI. 2 minutes to ask the question Kash Patel couldn't answer. How many people have left? And that refusal, that non-answer, it's going to haunt him. Because now every firing, every reassignment, every early retirement will be measured against the number he wouldn't give.